Alright, this is to, I'm going to take you through how I do the rankings, and I'm going to show you sort of how I do it and what kind of things I look at, and just things like that, just so you understand kind of how my thinking goes. Alright, so and I always have my pen, notes and stuff like that I write down and things like that, just so that I can sort of keep a track of similar teams that other teams play, just so you can kind of get a I guess get a picture on how good a team does against ranked teams, or against teams in different conferences or things like that, just so that so it sort of makes sense when you kind of put it together and then try and find out whether actually, or how well they actually rank within the section I'm doing. So I'm going to try and do 3 sections of these rankings, and the first will be the top 25, which is probably the most important, because everyone wants to know pretty much how to get in there and how to stay in there, or how to go up higher, or who they have to beat to get in there, things like that. So I'll do that one now and explain, and then after that I'll try and get down to the top 50, 26 to 50, and then 51 to 100. It's 12:25 a.m. and my kids are asleep, so hopefully there's no interruption, things like that. So I don't know if you guys can see this. I don't really know how to do this technical stuff and be able to like show you clearly what it looks like, but these right here on this side, those are the rankings from 1 to 25, and then 26 to 50, and then 51 to 76 to 75, then 76 onwards to 100, and then 100 down to 127 that I'm at right now. So I have that up, and I'm always looking at that, and then I look at scores. So that one there, these are the scores from just this past week, from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday into Saturday, and then I go through those and then create the new ones. And then I also have this one up, and this one is the schools. So there's the school there, so like this is Old Ely College, and this is the 4 games that they have since the start of the rankings, and every school and how many games that they've played. So not everybody has played the same amount of games. Not everybody has, you know, some guys are on 6 games, some guys are on 5 games, some on 4 because they've had holidays, and then I'll start doubling up and things like that. And so it's always going to be a different amount of games, but between teams I always try and find the common team to sort of compare them against. So we'll just take the first games here. Like on Tuesday, St. Paul's drew against Wanganui Collegiate. Now I have Wanganui Collegiate ranked 51. Now this is, and then I have St. Paul's Collegiate ranked 11th. Obviously they're going to drop. So St. Paul's right there have got a drop next to their name, and then obviously they lost yesterday, so they're going to drop quite a few now. And so figuring out how far they're going to drop depends on other people that are in front or that are behind them, and see which ones have that are going to be able to be moved up. So for instance, for example, St. Paul's are 11th, Otago Boys won again yesterday, which is cool. Fielding won again. Rotorua has to jump big time, and so they'll probably jump them. And St. Paul's will probably move back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe to 16th, because Otago have won. Otago have won. Rotorua have beaten the number 2 team in the nation, which is going to boost them up, and they could even, Rotorua could actually even jump Fielding and Otago boys, which I'm actually thinking of, because they've played better, I think, better competition as a whole. Fielding haven't really challenged themselves yet. Fielding haven't actually done a lot since they've come back from their tour of Australia. I mean, like, if I'm missing some games, like, I only have them having 2 games since they've been back, and that was against Manukura and also St. John's College in Hastings. So if I'm missing some from Fielding, send me the games that I'm missing, because those are what I'm grading you off. That's why I tell everyone, please send in your scores so I actually know who you guys are playing. And so Rotorua has actually played I've got them down as 4 matches against, just losing to St. Peter's, running over St. John's actually, beating Wesley 9-5, and then now winning against Hamilton Boys 27-29. And this is kind of how I actually do it, right? So, like, if we look at Rotorua boys' situation as well, because we're looking at St. Paul's, and St. Paul's is like, they've dropped 2, or they've drawn 1, and then they've lost to Wesley. Wesley are unranked in the top 25. Wesley is sitting 32nd, which means Wesley's going to move up. St. Paul's is going to move back. Rotorua is going to jump up, but it depends on how much. Now, Rotorua's first game in terms of the ranking, which started on April 29th was the date. Rotorua had a game against St. Peter's College. Now, back then, St. Peter's wasn't ranked. Rotorua was 14th. St. Peter's now is 3rd and could be 2nd in the nation now. You know, I have no... Because they haven't lost, I can't say that they can't go 2nd. So for me, I'm thinking they might go. They probably have a chance at 2nd. So losing 7-10 to St. Peter's, that game actually means quite a lot now that St. Peter's is now number 3 in the nation. So they were actually a better team than I thought they were. Rotorua only losing by 3 points and could have actually won that game as well. Now beating the Hamilton Boys, which is the 2nd team in the country, ranked number 2 in the country. That kind of tells me that Rotorua is actually a top 10 team, which means someone else has to fall out, or they're going to be sitting on 10th or sitting at 11th, or their wins are going to be just a bit better than everybody else's. So if we look at it here, St. Paul's is 11th, Palmy Boys is 10th, and they didn't play on the weekend. Christ College, they got a good win against Christchurch Boys, so they're going to jump up. Christchurch Boys are going to fall back. Sacred Heart was the other one that had a draw against Gisborne Boys, which actually means they're going to fall back too, because Gisborne Boys isn't actually ranked in the top 25, and they are 35th. Now, for me, and the way that I think about it is that anybody, and probably within number 1 to about number 40, I would say, all have a chance of beating each other within a few points or so. So the gap between number 40, which is at this stage Rangitoto, and Hastings Boys, you could say on a good day, Rangitoto could probably come within 12 points, which is great. Because then they actually, on a good day, and I'm saying on a good day, so like Hastings will have to have a bad day, Rangitoto have a good day, and I still think that Hastings will win, but Rangitoto has a good chance of blowing of getting, you know, a lot closer to them. So I take that into consideration, that every team is probably like 2 points away from beating each other anyway. So we'll take it back to Rotorua. Rotorua's got they lost to St. Peter's 10-7, which is a 3-point difference, which means that they could even end up somewhere around even 8th, something like that. So let's look back at St. Paul's. St. Paul's has had actually quite a bad run in the beginning. And they should fall too. So they lost to Tauranga Boys 20-3. They beat Mandurewa 47-7. They lost to Hamilton Boys 35-14. Then they drew against Wanganui Collegiate, and then they lost against Wesley. So if you have losses like that to guys who are not ranked, it makes it really bad. Now Wanganui is sitting 51st, so they're going to move up to the top 50 pretty much tonight. So St. Paul's losing to Wesley. Wesley's 35th, and Wanganui Collegiate's 51st. Now I'm going to take St. Paul's out of that 11th spot. I'm just going to sit them around 17th, which is where Napier Boys is. I'll just leave them there for now. Auckland Grammar moving up. Got to move up Grammar, and because they have beaten Hamilton Boys, they are also we're looking at Hamilton Boys second, Auckland Grammar sitting 23rd, and Auckland Grammar have had some pretty good wins. They've lost twice. Where are they? And this is the other thing. So, like I was saying about comparing, right? So I look at the games. They beat Tauranga. They beat Sacred Heart. Oh, they lost to Sacred Heart 16-11, which was a pretty good score. They lost to De La Salle. They beat up on New Plymouth Boys. They beat Mags. They beat Kelston. They beat Hamilton Boys. Now, out of those ones, they beat Tauranga, who was ranked. Mags, who was ranked, and actually we found that Mags wasn't as good as we thought they were. And Hamilton Boys that are ranked. So out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games, they beat 3 ranked teams. They lost to 3 ranked teams. And De La Salle is actually a big one, which shows that De La Salle is actually a lot better as well. So that's where it kind of becomes a big mix-up of which ones are a lot more valuable than others. Alright, so I think it would be safe to say, now so like people sort of complain sometimes about how about how they have dropped down, and then you don't drop down because even when they win, so like if they win then they still drop down in ranking. It's not because you're bad, it's because someone else has just got better wins. Like if you, like let's take someone like St. John's and Hamilton, who are probably going to run, you know, they're probably not going to lose a game in the what is it called, the Rainbow's End Cup and the Counties Waikato, you know, competition. Them and Monday will probably not lose a game in those competitions until they come up against each other. But even that record doesn't mean that that record is going to be, you know, they're going to end up being like 8-0 in their competition, and then that's better than someone like you know, Dilworth or someone like that, because Dilworth has to play harder teams. So of course not. But if Dilworth was in that competition, they'll probably run the table. And I think Dilworth would be better than Manurewa and St. John's as well. So you still have to match up what teams the competition plays, what competition they do play in, and this is where inter-schools is important as well. So like you take, if you know that they're in a crap competition, you take all those inter-schools that they do play and say, okay, judging from these inter-schools that they had and who those other inter-school teams have played, and then you kind of just find that balance between there. So for someone like Auckland Grammar, I like their inter-schools because their inter-schools, they always play Tauranga, they always play New Plymouth Boys, and they always play Hamilton, which is great, like always, because then that gives me the idea of that gives me the connection between the 1A and also the Super 8. Also St. Peter's play Gisborne Boys and Sacred Heart play Gisborne Boys as well, and that also gives me another chance to see the 1A and the Super 8. Also Palmerston Boys play King's College, which also gives me another one as well. And so Rotorua and the St. Peter's also have another one, and sometimes they play Auckland Grammar too. So like those kind of games there shows me where you can start gauging who has a better conference or where teams would fit into other conferences and things like that. I pretty much make sure that if you're a winning team and you can beat teams within the 1A, then you deserve to be at that level. So let's say that so Kings and Palmy Boys will play. If Palmy Boys beat Kings and then St. Pat Silver